Now in this recording, I'm just going to show how to read detail section B2. And where you're going to find this real quick is just AE 201 exterior elevations. And you'll just find it right here. And what it's going to show is just how the brick is attached to the concrete, really. So then I click on this link right here that I made, and it'll take me to it. And right here on the left side. And some important things that I should probably point out is that there's this right here, and it kind of trims up the section. It shows that it's a line that kind of represents that there's more to it, but what to focus on is here, what's shown. And on all of the sides, really, it has this line. And it'll keep on going down, not forever, but it'll go down. It extends past what you can see. And something important to point out is line thickness. Stuff that is being cut or in section, especially heavy, thick objects such as concrete, have really thick lines. And so does this brick. And patterns are usually really thin lines. As you can see when I zoom in real close, that these line types are the same thickness. Now this is grayed out more, probably just an architectural decision, just because it's insulation. They want you to be able to notice all the other stuff more. Weeps, that's a really neat thing about this section is that there's a weep, because if water is ever to infiltrate the area, it will have an area on the very bottom to get out. And how they look like is like this. It's just a thing with lots of holes in it, and it just allows for the water to escape if water ever gets in. And another thing I want to show is that there's a lintel here. And what it does is that it's fastened to the concrete, and it holds up the brick in place. And there's probably going to be other things to fasten up the brick, just because this is metal, and brick can be heavy at times. And so it's just fastened to the concrete and it holds it up. And how it looks like is something like this. It's metal. And this is for a sill, because I couldn't find one for a bottom. I know this says sill as well, but this is like window sill. So it'll just look just like on one side when it's going to be fastened to the concrete. But you get the point. It'll be able to have brick paste placed on top of it. Oh, right here you could even see that there's a weep here as well. Really good detail there. Another thing about line work right here, something that I like to point out, is that there's an air barrier, and they represent it with like a really thick dashed line. And it just goes in between the insulation and the concrete slash metal stud framing, or there's different types of framing. So sometimes it's metal stud, sometimes it's wood framed throughout this building, but there's an air barrier, and it's represented by this really thick line. Now these really thin hidden lines, this is a end plate. Now end plates look kind of something like this, and it was, as you can see, that's how it is, and it'll just be embedded in concrete. And it really helps for the structural aspect of this detail. It'll hold everything. It'll probably be attached to each other, all these things. Another thing that I wanted to show was how if water were to ever get in and all the way go to the air barrier, if a drip of water were to ever go down and maybe on this wall. Usually water, when it drips, it'll go in a little bit, but it wouldn't be able to go through because it might just either drip on this and it'll be deflected down, or it'll be blocked because of this sill sealer right here. And it's just represented, there's probably like multiple sill sealers throughout all this right here. Another thing to point out is that this is right here. It's another lintel. As you can see, it has like the same pattern inside of it. So this will be fastened to the concrete, and the concrete slab will be able to rest upon this, and it will be able to hold it up. Now, it doesn't show in this detail what this stuff is, so I had to look over here, and it says that it's just spray-on, like 2-inch thick insulation. So it's probably going to be the same thing, it just wasn't called out over here. Another thing that this detail does is that it shows distance between the top of this concrete foundation, this concrete wall, and all the way to the top of the lintel, just so that people know where to place it, because they're going to put this on first and then all that later. Another thing that I noticed is that this pattern really looks similar to this pattern. So maybe there's like a really thin concrete thing in between the gypsum board, perhaps. Just pointing out things that I notice about this detail. And that should be about it. Thanks for watching.